So, it's a day none of us really thought would happen, but it has. The forbidden door in the WWE has officially been kicked down, right? And it's crazy to think about. And the reason why I say it's crazy to think about is, um, well, Triple H, right? For many years, us WWE fans thought there was never a chance, not a chance in hell, as Vince McMahon would say. And the reason why is because WWE moved like a monopoly. Let's be real here. They did. They acted for so long as if nobody else existed. Now, I get it, in the 90s, they acted as if WCW existed. Obviously, WCW actually brought them competition, but for over 20 years, WWE has felt like they've had absolutely no competition, which, if you look at the numbers, truth be told, again, looking at the numbers, they don't, right? You could argue AEW, but again, WWE is always going to be number one. I hate to break it to everybody. That's just where we stand right now. I'm not going to sit here and bash AEW because AEW is great. I just do believe that WWE is too high in the market. There's not a piece of me that thinks they're going to die anytime soon. But they decide recently, as of today, which is December 23rd, 2023, that they're going to announce a partnership with All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, if you guys don't know anything about AJPW, I suggest you guys go check that out. If I'm not mistaken, Shinsuke Nakamura actually did some wrestling in AJPW. I also know that there were some other wrestlers that have worked in AJPW. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know like a whole bunch about AJPW. From my understanding, there's going to be a title defense going on in AJPW, which somebody from NXT is going to be going over there, and I could see this being a way for WWE to kick down the door for NXT Japan, which I can imagine will happen eventually, because obviously they plan on going global with NXT. Rightfully so. There's a lot of places that they could go. I can imagine it'll be like NXT Japan, NXT Europe. Like, there's going to be a lot of different places that WWE is going to hit. But there's a lot of questions that many people have, and one question roaming through everybody's mind is, okay, well, they're working with AJPW. Is there anybody else? And if you ask me, there is a specific player that comes to mind when I think of WWE potentially working with, and that potential player is TNA, and I think we got to talk about it, right? Because now, looking at it, TNA kind of sits in the woodworks. They rebranded themselves, so it was an Impact, now it's TNA. Excuse me again. They've rebranded themselves completely, and they're back to TNA. And TNA, back in the 2010 kind of when WWE went into the PG side of things, TNA kind of decided to go on to Monday nights and maybe try and compete, and they did like one Monday, and it just didn't work at all. It was a whole mess. So TNA found out, like, hey, we may not be able to compete with the WWE, but what we can do is we could potentially work with them. And if you guys don't know, Impact, TNA, actually did do some kind of working with WWE a couple years ago, where they had Mickie James, who was the Knockouts World Champion at the time, Women's World Champion at the time. They had her come into the WWE Royal Rumble and had her participate in that. Obviously, that's great. And now Mickie James' husband actually works in the company. If you guys don't know who her husband is, it's Nick Aldis, who is the general manager of Friday Night SmackDown. But there's so many things kind of brewing in that kind of sit in this storm. And right now, the one thing that just comes to mind is TNA. TNA potentially working with NXT. I'm not saying that they have to work with the main roster, but I think you have a potential with these young stars working with TNA, taking some of them over there, or even TNA bringing some of their talent onto WWE television. It kind of reminds me of the early 90s when ECW would, kind of ship talent off to the WWE if they felt that they could use them. So there's just a lot of room here, and I think you can accomplish a lot with kicking this forbidden door down. I know I know it sounds crazy and it sounds like unrealistic, but it really has happened. Triple H has stepped in and has kicked the forbidden door down. And if you guys don't know, there was a promo segment on All Japan Pro Wrestling where they actually picked up the phone. It was in English. It was the WWE calling. Just crazy stuff that you don't often see, and I love to see stuff like this. It makes me happy. It really does. It makes me thrilled. It makes me wonder, like, okay, what else can happen? Because now it feels inevitable that something else is going to happen. And you see the pushes of guys like Karrion Kross. You see the pushes of AJ Styles, who has a new character, Randy Orton, LA Knight. Everything kind of feels important again. And I'm not going to sit here and say it reminds me of the Attitude Era, because it doesn't. But it has some of that feel from the Attitude Era where everybody plays a part. So now they can bring in all these other people to kind of piece together this pie and create something magical. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And I'm so excited to see what Triple H is going to brew up next. I know recently they announced Friday Night SmackDown New Year's Revolution or Resolution. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But it's an old pay-per-view that WWE did a long time ago, and it looks like what Ango and I, if you guys want, go check out Ango's channel. We go live sometimes together. We actually talked about how they're actually going to utilize these SmackDowns and make them feel more important and give them a new name. So, for instance, Monday Night Raw Day 1, that makes it feel important. So it's just, there's so much going on, and there's so much to be excited about in the WWE, and I can't wait. I really can't. Like, just to see. But other than that, I want to have a discussion down in the comment section below, and I really, really want to have this discussion because I feel like this discussion could lead into some really good conversation. So I want to talk about it. Do you guys believe that there's a potential for WWE to possibly work with another company, or is this just all overthinking and this is just going to be another one of those one-off things where WWE is just kind of doing it to push their brand into Japan? And just, or is there actually something behind this? Is there something that could happen? And let's be real here. Is it wild to think that I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Is it wild to think that maybe one day AEW and WWE could possibly work together if they just got onto the same wavelength? Obviously, I know that's a long stretch, and this is all just opinion based, but it's a question that could be had. If you guys are new here, definitely be sure to like this video and be sure to subscribe to the channel. There's a bunch of new subscribers, and I just want to say how appreciative I am of you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Also, I have some merchandise linked down in the description below, so you guys can go head on over to my merch store. I have a hoodie up. That's literally all it is right now. I like the hoodie. I like it with my logo. So if you guys want to support the channel, that's one way you could do so. Also, another big way that you could support the channel is join the monthly subscription, man. Be a part of the family. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. So just be sure to join the channel. Become a member. Become one of us. Also, join the Discord down in the link in the description. If you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter. That is at twitter.com/BillyDTKO. I'm not going to sit here and run it through you guys. My TikTok is BillyTKO. You can go follow me over there. Other than that, that's all I got. I want to say that is all I got today. Other than that, I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace.